unfortunately, over the last 5 or 6 years is that we quite simply priced ourselves out of many markets. And when you see, for example, what's happening in Dell, how do you react to that? I have never argued that a race to the bottom is the way to address those problems. In fact, I would argue that a race to the top is the way to address those problems. It's the quality of the labour force in this country that will determine our success or failure. That's why I think quality spending in education is the most crucial element of Ireland's economic and social future. It's based on education, it's based on enabling people to move up the so-called value chain and to fill jobs that higher level employers will be prepared to create in this country. We need to control public spending. To me, that's quite obvious, because there is a limit to how much tax can be taken out of the economy. This is not an attack on the public sector. It is merely saying that the public sector needs to perform more efficiently. It needs to give us value for the vast amounts of money that are spent in running the public sector in this country. Who is paying the price? So I suppose I've just given you my sort of vision in the short term on how Ireland starts to extricate itself from this mess. But I also, happen to believe in the notion of entrepreneurial capitalism. That is an economy based on lots of small businesses and not on one or two big employers who can hold the whole country to ransom. So I firmly believe in the SME sector. I firmly believe in creating an environment where SMEs can actually be created, be set up, be nurtured, can create employment, particularly in rural areas. Okay, so that's my vision of entrepreneurial capitalism. It's a lot of small businesses with no large companies holding the whole country to risk. I also believe that the whole fundamentals of banking need to be seriously revisited. Whether it's nationalisation or not, I said I believe there's inevitability about it, but what will it achieve? Not very much, because a state-owned bank could be every bit as dangerous and irresponsible as a privately owned bank. But what I do believe is that we need to get rid of this notion. Bankers started to believe in recent years that they were wealth creators. They are not wealth creators. Banking is a very simple business that has been destroyed by very simple people. Banking is all about facilitating the flow of credit into the economy to create jobs and to try and improve people's living standards through quality employment creation. I do believe also, and I've said it on TV and radio, that the bankers, not all of the bankers who got us into this mess, I would differentiate between behaving illegally and behaving irresponsibly. People who behave irresponsibly should lose their jobs, they go to jail. People who behave illegally should go to jail. And what has happened in Anglo-Irish Bank and the subsequent revelations over the last 3 or 4 months sicken me to the stomach. And I have no doubt that if we want to create the sort of social solidarity that this country needs to get us through this mess, that people are going to have to go to jail. I have no problem whatsoever with that, and in fact I would welcome it, because what happened there, in my view, may not in the eyes of corporate law be illegal, but in the eyes of moral law it is certainly illegal. I do firmly believe that incentives must exist in any society. People need to be facilitated, encouraged to, put effort into their lives, put effort into their working lives, to better themselves, to get better education, to attain higher things for their children than they attain themselves. I think the incentive structure in society should facilitate that. And in my view, the market system, a regulated market system, can actually fulfill that function. I think that's probably all I want to say. Probably at this stage. Just to sort of summarise my key points, we are in a serious crisis. The unfettered free market system has failed us in this country. It has failed us globally. It does need to be structured. It does need to be reinvented. I believe there is a way of doing it within the sort of accepted norms of a capitalist society that is regulated. As I said to you, and I stress, I do not and am not driven by an ideological belief system. I believe that every issue should be judged on its own merits. So I seriously get annoyed with being called or pigeonholed as a right-wing capitalist economist. There are aspects of what I say and do that you could describe that way. There are also aspects of what I say and do which you could describe as left-wing. And in fact, I would have argued in 2002 that Barry McCreevy's tax-cutting agenda was not appropriate for the Irish economy. And John Fitzgerald, SRI, did likewise. And some of us were branded pinko liberals by McCreevy at the time. I don't know if he included me in that or not. I have no idea. I've never spoken to McCreevy. But there you are. I think what we need in this time of crisis is rational, sane leadership. I believe the political system needs to get up off its backside and create the solutions and create the incentives for people to get out of this mess. So thank you very much for giving me the courtesy of listening to me tonight, and I'd also like to thank Joe Higgins tonight. I was sort of afraid coming in, maybe I will yet, so I might leave it like this. I feared that I was going to get devoured, but I have not compromised my views here tonight to suit an audience. Everything I've said in the past, I've written in the past. Okay, so thank you very much for listening to me.